Welcome to the Draft Board Hockey Show. My name is Mark, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Link, who has just returned from Minnesota post World Juniors. How are you?
I'm doing great. The World Juniors was easily the pinnacle of my hockey career so far. So I've been having a great time being there. I got to schmooze all the analysts and some scouts and whatnot. So I have an insider's opinion here coming away from
Nice.
the World Juniors. We have a lot of good performances we have to go over. There's a lot of guys that I personally interviewed that I want to talk about. There's just a lot to really recap. It was a weird World Juniors. It was a fun World Juniors, and yeah, it was great. Let's get started.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna this show. We're gonna talk about all of the draft eligible players that were in the World Juniors, and there was a lot actually at this tournament, which was really nice to see. And a lot of them succeeded, so it was a good turnout for that core group, the 2026 NHL draft class. Link got to see a lot of those players, so we're gonna chat. And he interviewed a lot of those players, so we're gonna get to chat about that. Any one player, well, okay, so let's congratulate Sweden for winning the gold. Finally made it over the hump. Czechia second. I had them second. Unfortunately, I had them second to Canada. Canada ended up with the bronze. Oh, what can you do?
Great.
What can you do? Czechia played a great. Hey, listen, playoffs.
They did.
I told you
They
that
did.
team was built for this tournament. And man, did they a little bit of a comeback there against Sweden too?
They did. They really did. I was sitting next to Cam Robinson and Stephen Ellis during the game, and we were just being like, "Oh my god, they're gonna do this?
It's not over yet. It's not over.
What's going on?" Matej Kubiesha, he like threw it right in there. We're like 23 seconds left. We're like, "No way, right?" And we just kind of looked at each other. I was like, "Maybe it could happen." So yeah, it was like the whole thing. I was like, "That's so." It was close, honestly, but then Stenberg put it home.
Yep.
And they won. So hey, maybe we could start off with that guy right there, Stenberg, because he had himself a tournament. He really did.
Okay, so now before we continue, lots of talks about McKenna. And did he do enough to retain that first overall position, or did Stenberg sneak in and climb above him? What do you say, Lang? What's your take on that whole? So that's a lot of talk right now. That's a lot of talk.
So I'll say this once and for all: Stenberg had a fantastic tournament, and the discussion is still alive for him to go first overall. I'm not going to discount what he did. He's a fantastic player. The last two games of his tournament, the semifinals and the gold medal game, those were the two best games that he played this entire tournament. Against Finland, he was incredible. Against Czechia, he was really solid. That being said, like he was on a stacked team, and he was playing with Vigo Bjork, who was excellent. It was really helping him feed along the puck. Same with McKenna as well. So these guys both were beneficiaries of being part of amazing teams. Stenberg really stood out to me. He was great. However, there were just times where Stenberg, he started off with a slow tournament. There were some inconsistencies there. McKenna, say what you will about him. Continue to criticize him about what you've seen in Penn State and some of the frustrating aspects of his game. Gavin McKenna showed once again, time and again, he is the most talented player in this draft class, bar none. His passing game was on display. The last game that he played, even though it was the sixth goal in that game, that last feed to Sam O'Reilly in front of the net while he was looking at the guy who was passing it to him, and it was unbelievable. He had 14 points in 7 games, 2 points a game he averaged, and he was really solid. I felt that McKenna had a legit bid for the best player, the best forward on Canada. There were some times where Hage looked off and McKenna was stepping up. There were times where McKenna looked off and Hage was stepping up. We could talk all day about this Canada team, but McKenna, he really came to play. And there were some serious times where he bucked the trend of like, oh, he doesn't forecheck, oh, he doesn't back check. He was seriously jumping on players, jumping on sticks, jumping on those forechecks. Albeit it wasn't as consistent as an Ivar Stenberg, but the offense for me far outweighed Ivar Stenberg's performance. I still have McKenna going first, but I'm not saying that his first overall is not unchallenged. Stenberg still has a very legit challenge for first overall, but I still have McKenna coming out as number 1 after this tournament.
Okay, so you know what? We talk about Stenberg. I wanted to move on to his teammate, who I thought had a great tournament, and that is Mr. Vigo Bjork. I just loved everything about what he did at this tournament. He was consistent from day one. And like we had said before, you know, they trusted him on PP, PK. He was great 5v5. I loved his game. I think his stock rose pretty good in my books. It rose because of this tournament. I loved everything about his game.
It should have. It really should have. Everyone that I talked to was really buzzing about Vigo Bjork. He did not have a bad game. He had a point every single game. Look. There's a legit argument, all right, that he was the best forward on Sweden, and I'll indulge anyone in that argument. I kind of believe that. I mean, you could just kind of pick anyone between Berglund, Frondell, Vigo Bjork, and Stenberg. I think Vigo Bjork really has that argument down pat. He was fantastic in all three zones, despite his size. Whether he's 5'9", 5'10", I will vouch for him. All right. I'm like 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. He's taller than me. So the kid is not 5'10". The kid is 5'10", guys. He's legit. All right. He's not like LJ Mooney where like he comes up to my shoulders. All right. That's for another day. But no, but Vigo he's legit. And I got to talk to him and he was really soft spoken, really humble, really just very mature. He knew what he has to do during this tournament. He knew what he has to do for the rest of the year. I really don't see how he doesn't play bigger SHL minutes throughout the rest of this year. He was fantastic throughout the tournament. He was a very crucial part to why Sweden was so good in the neutral and defensive zones. He was on their top penalty kill too for an offensive forward like him. So Vigo Bjork really was the one who kind of surprised me the most out of this tournament. Do not be surprised if you see every outlet have him in their top 15 and most people trying to shove him into their top 10. It's a tough one to squeeze, but he's absolutely deserved it. I don't think he'll be top 10 for me, but he'll be very close for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing that we have to remember is that Vigo Bjork's at 08 as
Yeah.
opposed to Stenberg and McKenna 07s. So he still has that year extra, I guess you could say, in terms of draft eligibility. So yeah, okay. We can move on to the last draft eligible player on Sweden, and that is William Hawkinson. Or you want to move on to the rest of the Canadian draft eligible players? Hawkinson, what do you think of his play?
Well, yeah, we can talk about all three defensemen, I guess, in one clip.
Yeah,
But
let's do that.
Hawkinson's a big boy. I was surprised with some of his puck movement. This guy really lives and dies in the trenches. He blocks a lot of shots. Outside of that, he wasn't too spectacular. There were some times where he was skating with the puck up the ice and was really nice. But he was in a limited role. I would say a more limited role than Karels and Verhoff. But that's how Sweden plays. That's how Havelid plays. That's how the Swedish team is usually coached. It'll be very crucial to go and see a lot of minutes of him in the SHL. I wish I was still over in Denmark because then I could see him all the time. But I talked to him, very humble kid, very nice kid, very soft-spoken kid. He was someone who's just like, yeah, I love to get in the dirty areas. He loves those areas, and I'm a big fan of him and his work ethic. And after meeting him, yeah, I'm a believer in him. But we'll see because the two defensemen I really just I was dying to talk to both of them. And I got Verhoff first, and then Karels I had to wait a little bit till after the bronze medal game to get. They're both great. Verhoff, I really went back and forth. There were people that I was talking to that were like, "This is your first overall pick," and I kind of looked at them, and then there would be moments where he would be like dominating the offensive zone. He would make some really awesome decisions, but then you'd go to the defensive zone, and you're like, "What is he doing? What's going on here?" So he was pretty inconsistent, I would say, in the defensive and neutral zones. I did not see him take very good angles on rushes and stuff like that. Verhoff. So it remains to be seen. His skating still needs to be fixed. But that being said, the end of the day, the draft is not about who's the best player this year. It's about who's going to be the best player when they're 25, 26, 27. Verhoff is a physical specimen. And when I was next to him, he was just, there's more that can be added to him. He really is a strong kid. So I really think he's going to stay at the number one defenseman spot for this draft class. So we'll see if that's either third overall, second overall, fourth overall. But then Carson Karels, I really, really loved Carson Karels' tournament. He was sheltered a little bit more than Verhoff. They both sat the same amount of games, but Karels was up with Brunick in that final game. He was really solid. He was becoming more physical. He was laying the body. He was really good at closing out in the defensive zone. So I'm a big fan of Carson Karels. He said he played much more of a role than he does in Prince George, but they all do. So I was a big fan of him. He really was like saying, like, I want to go back to the Czechia game and kind of like do whatever I can because I like there's a lot of things I want to fix. There's a lot of things I think about. And I was like, dude, this guy is absolutely money. Love this guy, Carson Carroll. So he's great.
Okay, so like we talked about those 3D. Now, another defenseman that I want to talk about, your neck of the woods, Mr. Chase Reed. What do you think of his tournament? Because I actually liked a lot of his games that he played, and I thought that this is a defenseman that has a lot of offensive upside, but defensively he was actually pretty decent. And it's hard to compare him, I guess, against players that are playing in the NCAA and whatnot. However, I thought that he held his own, I guess you could say, in terms of defense, and we know that he's got the offensive chops. What do you think? Would he have a chance of moving ahead of, like, say, Veerhoff in the draft?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I think the more work that he's put in on defense has shown. He was, in my opinion, far and away the best defensive defenseman this tournament. He was getting in the lane all the time for opponents. He was fantastic. He was really good at getting in the lane, preventing passes, blocking shots. He was really, really good in some hard lockdown minutes in the defensive zone. And that was something I noticed. I really quickly was like jotting that down. Like he was really good in those moments. And he's good in the neutral zone possessions. He's got to get a little bit better at his speed. He's got to get good at his first 3 steps, but he's already a better skater than Keaton Verhoff right now. He's big. He's big and hulky. He's a thick boy, as they like to say. But even in the offensive game, he's steady. He's got some good skates by the blue line. Like he is a smart kid. I really liked Chase Reed. And I thought if they made it to a semifinal game, watch out. He would have been pretty dangerous for the Americans. I really liked this tournament for him. I honestly, and I will say this too, I'm between him and Verhoff for my first D. It's between those two, and I really honestly at this point, I don't know who I'm taking. I'm gonna have to look at least like 2 games between the two. Reed had that good of a tournament. He was fantastic. He stood out to me. He stood out to a lot of people that I was watching with. People were saying like, that's a number 1 D right there, right? That's really solid. So
he's big. He's a right shot D.
Yeah.
He can skate like the wind. Like I said, I saw him right before the World Juniors here in Windsor, and like I was super impressed with his play. And then he capped it off at the World Juniors. I said, yeah, this could. So to be honest with you, talking about him and Veerhoff and stuff like that, I think it goes McKenna is top tier, and then the second tier, I think you got Veerhoff, Reed, Stenberg right in that mix right there. That could go second, third, fourth. I think that's where we would put the tier list right now for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. I low-key do want to toss Stenberg up in that top tier because it is close. I will say Stenberg did a lot this tournament.
Yeah, see, I'm still
like I'm not giving him the first overall yet. Yeah. It's like a nod. I'm not giving him that nod yet. Yeah. But no, he's done the work. He's put the work in
absolutely,
to be close to McKenna. And like I think one of the things that someone said to me is like, again, you're not just drafting for empty regular season points. You're drafting a guy who eventually will be a demon in the playoffs. And Stenberg did a lot of that. Reed, who? Oh my gosh, this guy is mean. That's a guy I want in my corner.
I like that. I love
that. You have
to have that edge. You have to have that edge. Okay, so now if we talk about defensemen, let's do one more D and then we'll move on to some other forwards. You know who I'm going to talk about, right?
We have to talk about him.
We got to go ahead. You know who I'm talking. I mean, read my mind.
Albert Smeets.
Yes.
Albert Smeets. I heard everything about Albert Smeets. There was so much. Nobody could shut up about this kid. That's all everyone wanted to talk about. Albert Smeets, Albert Smeets, Albert Smeets. And then I talked to him, and then this guy he's just quick wit. He's just got the funniest answers. I remember one time I asked him, I was like, you've got a big frame. He's 6'3", 200 and something pounds. I'm like, but you have such a technicality about you when just stopping guys in the rush. What's the mentality going through your head when you like are doing these rush chances? And he's just like, what's my mentality on rushes? It's like, stop the puck. I was like, well, it's like, thanks for making me sound stupid, Alberts. But like, yeah,
matter of fact, right? Hey,
he's very matter of fact. Everyone I talk to is like, this kid is going to kill during the interviews. He's going to go like top 5 because of the interviews.
Like a Uri Slavkovsky. That's what he did at the interviews. Like at the combine, like everyone came out saying Uri Slavkovsky is the man when it comes to interviews. So you're calling it Albert Smeets. When we go to the combine, we're going to hit him up again.
We're going to be like, hey, like, dude, who are you talking to? He's just like, I've talked to GMs and NHL players. So he's going to just like give us that. He's going to 2-time us again. But no, so the things with Albert Smeets, I heard everything from this kid is going second overall to I am a little worried about him going in the top 10, which I think is fair. He's very raw. He's a very, very raw prospect. Even though he's playing up with men in the Liga, he's fantastic. He is one of those players that acts like a fourth forward on plays. He is really technical on the power play. He's really just he'll jump up into plays. He'll support the rush. He's a really good offensive defenseman. Two-way, he's physical. He is very, very just like his motor is fantastic. He was the only guy trying against that Finland team after they took Canada to the brink in the group stage. He's a big effort guy, and I appreciated that. I think everyone appreciated it. But the defensive shifts, they have to get better. He's got to be more aware in the defensive zone. He's got to be more aware on rushes and stuff like that, and in the neutral zone. But that being said, he's extremely raw, and it shows. And people are loving what they're seeing. He didn't dominate for Latvia, but you're asking a guy to dominate on a team like Latvia. No offense to Latvia, but it was a weaker team this year, and it was just kind of tougher in general. And he was the star player, and people are talking about him going top 10. I think we need to really look at his Liga shifts. I was really impressed for kind of what he did, and he's gonna stay high on my list. He really is.
No, I love it. Now, another player that I know you had a lot of fun talking to and plays out of Peterborough, Mr. Adam Novotny. You said you loved interviewing him. He was a
Yeah,
good kid, right?
by far my favorite interview. He was just somebody who got better every single game of the tournament.
You did.
I was lucky to get him early where nobody really wanted him after a certain game, which I was like, great. Like we kind of talked about everything. He really is just got such a great mentality with him. I was talking to him all about points. He's like, yeah, points are great. It's like that. And like I've been showing it off in the OHL, but like for right now, if I can just put in a really good two-way game against every team that I'm playing, I'll be satisfied. Like I really want to just I don't really care about the points. I want to win. And I love my roommates, and they'll give me like he was roommates with he was roommates and like squads with a lot of these guys. He was roommates with Vasilov Nestersil.
Oh,
So
nice.
Nestersil would just like show him the ropes. He's like, hey, don't do that, do this. And like he was just like, I want to support them in any way possible. He is such a great teammate, and he is such a very coachable guy. And he speaks English, good English too. He's a funny dude too. He loves to laugh. And when I was like talking, I was like, all right, let's get into the more personal side. Who's the crap talker on the team? He was just giggling the whole time, and I really
Nice.
buttered him up.
That's
So
awesome.
he's a good interview. He's a great kid. And I think his mentality is fantastic. And not only did we see really good two-way play from him at the end of the tournament, semifinals, and also the gold medal game, I saw his best skating by far. His puck moving was fantastic. When nobody else can move the puck, he was getting triple teamed on zone entries, and he had nowhere else to go. But he was the only one who was being able to do those things through periods 1 and 2 of the gold medal game. So that really spoke volumes to me that in a game where Czechia, where they were blamed like, oh, they're worn out because of Canada. It's the gold medal game. They're going to bring everything. Novotny brought it. He really did bring it. And I commend him for that. He's a great player. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Mark. I don't know where you're gonna have him, but he's creeping into my top 10. He's somebody who's really making a run.
I'm
So
trying to think. He's in my top 15. Let's just put I'm
yeah,
going to listen. I got so many games coming up right now. I'm gonna be able to see Veerhoff, McKenna, Novotny, like everyone, Maholtra. Like I'm gonna see everyone. And Franco. Okay, so wait, I want to talk about one player that I thought had a pretty decent showing, and that is Lars Steiner. What do you think of
yeah.
his play? I thought he played really well at this tournament.
Well, McKean's just posted my interview with him today. He had a pretty good tournament. I wasn't overly impressed. Of course, but I will say, Switzerland played a big defensive game, and he was a big part of that. He had to really play a game that I really hadn't seen him do all that much in the QMJHL because he is an offensive forward for Roy Noranda. But along the wall, he was deadly. He was really, really good. He was kind of everywhere. He was playing that really good two-way game in the neutral and defensive zones. When I asked him like what he want like people to take away from him, it's just like, yeah, like I really have improved my two-way game, and I intend on showing that even more in the queue. Like he was somebody that like was really, really, really adamant about like just kind of his two-way game, and I'm like, I really liked it. He played a great role for Switzerland, a team that was, in my opinion, the best defensive team in the tournament. Nobody can score on them. Like not even the
Yeah.
gold medals Swedes. Like that was crazy. But yeah, he was fantastic. He was really good, and he's going to go back to Q, and he's going to do really well too. So
All right. So how about let's go on to Finland. Two players. I thought that they played real decent tournaments. Probably didn't, pop off the page, I guess you could say.
No.
Savanto and Pipparainen. What do you think of their play?
Suvanto was pretty good. He had shown a lot of prowess as a two-way guy. The speed was kind of concerning to me.
Yeah.
He was pretty slow, and that was something that was like kind of he's got areas to grow. He is a big guy. When I interviewed this dude is a man. He is a mammoth.
Yeah.
I think with some good skating over there in Tapera, I'm just like he's gonna really explode. But again, I will have to get some more viewings in on him. He kind of looks slow to me. There was a lot of other guys who were a bit more offensive, a bit more just kind of physical. He was ready to mix it up though. He looked a little experienced, but I really liked his rawness. Like wasn't too concerning to me, but he was a bit raw. Pipparainen though, his skating is great. He is a big dude. He plays a very conservative defensive game. Love his game. Don't know why he was sat for a lot of the games.
Yeah.
He had a really good semifinal matchup against Sweden.
Yeah.
And then he was sat for the bronze medal game. I'm like, what are they doing? So I talked to him after the semifinal game, and he was really big. Like he was a guy. He thick, and he is a baby face, and he's gonna grow, and he's gonna be really good. But he plays a very conservative style, and he's really humble. He's a very coachable guy. And at the end of my interview, he was the only guy who was like, it's like he apologized for not being able to speak that great English. And I told him, you're fine. You speak you do your best speaking on the ice. And he's like, yeah, I do. I was like, yeah, dude, don't worry about it. So he was a good guy. He was a great interview. I was very lucky to talk to a guy like him because he is someone that I was really intrigued in. I wanted to know his philosophy and his mentality because he is just an anomaly. He can do a lot of different things in the offensive zone, in the defensive zone, and the neutral zone as well. Like he can do things in 3 zones that, like, if shown more often, I really think he's going to be a special player. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the year. He will probably be in a sheltered role in the Liga for the most of his year, which kind of I kind of doesn't sit right with me. But he played well. I think he really did play well.
Yeah, and we got to remember, like he's a young player too on this team, right? Now, so we'll cap off with the Slovaks. We got 2. Well, there's a 3 draft eligible players, but Thomas Renko and Adam Nemetz, and then Golier. So all 3 of them take on those.
I was a little bit surprised. I didn't really see a lot of Golier, and that wasn't like I went to a lot of Slovak games.
Yeah,
I kind of just wasn't really noticing him too much, to be fair.
Yeah.
The Slovaks were a weird team. It was just like they had some good games, but just some of their guys were just like some of them were really hot and cold. And Golier was one of those guys. I was surprised. I wanted to see a bigger tournament from him. It's not going to hurt his draft case at all because he's had a really good season so far in the top Slovak league. But Nemetz and Trenko, Tomáš Trenko, he was the guy that I got an interview from. He's had a special tournament, a really good tournament. 5 goals, 3 assists through 5 games.
Can fire a puck. Wow, can he fire?
Can fire a puck, and he's fast, and he's got a good little motor there as well. Adam Nemetz, he's a very smart kid as well. He's bigger than Trenko. He makes some pretty smart passes. But Trenko really was the one who stood out to me. I think Adam Nemetz and him might go around the same time, like a same place. Depends on who has the better season. But I personally, I've got a bit stronger opinion of Trenko just because he works a lot harder. He gets in those areas. He's a lot quicker too. And in the offensive zone, he is just dangerous. So I was asking him like, hey, like, what are you going to carry over to the Slovak league, and what do you want teams to take away from this? And he said 3 words. I'm just like, okay. He's like, my skill, my passion for the game, and just my connection with my teammates. Like, I think I have a very coachable and like teamwork oriented guy. I'm like, awesome. And he's great. So I was very happy to talk to him. I unfortunately interviewed him after the Canadian 7-1 drubbing that he received, but still a good interview nonetheless. Still a great tournament nonetheless. He's going to feature in my first round. I'm not going to put him too high, but he's going to be in my first round.
I just snuck him into my first round. Actually, I just
There
did
you
my
go.
rankings. Yeah. Now, one thing let's talk about just some other quick things before we shut her down. But big news: Tylan Lawrence, BU, here he comes. We are excited about that. Lots of trades in the CHL right now here in Ontario. Lots of trades. Teams are loading up for that playoff run. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about in upcoming days. Like, I'm excited, buddy.
There's so much to go over. There's there's stuff that happened like last night and this morning that I've been talking with guys about all weekend. Like, hey, like, what are we gonna hear about? Like, or I've been talking to guys all weekend. None of this was like privy to them.
Yeah.
The Tyne and Lawrence thing, nobody heard about it until this morning. And I was like talking to people, and like maybe they were like, it's like, oh, like didn't want to mention it to me, but like I was like asking, like, oh my god, did you hear about this? And they're like, no, I don't know what's going on. But I was like telling everybody,
you know what? You never know. You never know. Like they probably
you never
didn't
know.
know. Yeah.
Probably some
So
words going on, but
lots
it was
lots of fun stuff coming up. And like, did you
it's
have a
great.
good time or what, buddy? Come on.
Did I have a
You
good
must have
time?
been excited.
Mark,
Come on.
I was ecstatic. All right.
It's
I
like
had an amazing
Christmas
time.
all over again.
It was Christmas all over again. I had a great time just going to the rinks, going to the arenas,
So
talking to a
fun.
lot of people, getting to meet people, but also going around and exploring Minnesota. It's a great state. If you haven't been there,
I've been there.
go.
I've been
It's
there.
great.
It's beautiful.
I'm talking to the general viewership, Mark. So
Oh, okay.
you know,
Yeah, I've been there, dude. Listen, I'm a well-traveled Canadian. Trust me.
I know you are. But no, the Grand Casino Arena in St. Paul is a fine arena. It's a great arena. And then the Mariucci Arena at the Minnesota University, that's another really tip-top college arena. I think it's the best college arena I've been to so far. Pagula and it are close, but I have them both over Yost right now and a couple others, but it's a good barn over there. They have a lot of good seats. It's an electric atmosphere. I really liked Mariucci. I really liked Grand Casino. So it was a great time. I recommend going to the World Juniors for anything. It's great.
Well, next year I think I'm going to attend next year. My brother lives in BC, right near Alberta, and his close buddy of his, they put their names in for the lottery. So I'm going to get a media pass, hopefully, fingers crossed, and then they get in with a thing, and then we're going to just have a blast, hang out with my bro Link. Hopefully, he's going to join us too, unless he's busy working or something like that. Who knows?
We'll see. Could be working. I could be the remote one next year. We'll see what happens between me and Mark. But if we're both there, we're gonna be just like we'll figure it out for sure. I can't. Okay. I need to get my way over to Toronto, the GTA, as they say.
Yes.
So.
All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.